Nigeria's energy sector ended 2024 on a very high note with a remarkable comeback of the Warri refining and petrochemical company after several years of inactivity. The 125,000 barrels per day capacity refinery came back just barely a month after the Port Harcourt refinery began operations. Tonight we continue our review of major achievements in the sector in 2024 and what to expect in 2025. Hello there and a happy new year. This is Energy and You, a show that brings you weekly developments in the energy sector with a focus on NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Egumbo. Welcome to the program.
It's the dawn of a new day, so come on, let's go. Let's go, let's go. So come on, let's go. Let's go, let's go. It's a brand new day. Come on, let's go. It's a brand new day, so come on, let's go.
Now, 2024 has been a remarkable year for Nigeria's energy company with modest achievements in oil and gas production, renewable energy investments and infrastructure improvements, including the restreaming of the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries after many years in comatose. Tonight we bring you the concluding part of our review on the 2024 performance of NNPC Limited, the impact of government reforms on the industry, challenges and the future of oil and gas in Nigeria. Take a look. Thank you, gentlemen, for staying with us. Now, let me begin with you, Dr. Michi. Nigeria has vast natural gas resources,
yes,
and we've seen quite a number of investments made in the last few months. But in your own assessment, how have we fared in terms of infrastructure and, of course, the markets?
I think we're still in a transition phase because Nigeria is just beginning to realize its gas potentials.
Right.
And Nigeria is actually a gas-producing country, much more than an oil-producing country. And we're beginning to see the transition from the use of fossil fuel derivative energy sources to power vehicles and logistics to gas. And we're beginning to see incremental investment in expanding gas infrastructure. That is still work in progress. And I hope that we can use that advantage of that natural endowment to expand gas infrastructure to a level where Nigeria will not only utilize gas for industrial production, but also be a major exporter of gas resources globally. So, but for as it is now, we are still in transition phase from an oil-producing country to one that is gas-producing in every sense of the word. So I think we're making steady progress in that direction. And if that is also sustained, in no time, Nigeria will become a major player.
Okay, now, Dr. Lemi, there's been a significant rise in the demand for gas in the last few months, probably because of the huge campaign that NNPC has been making, particularly with the conversion, the compressed natural gas initiative and all of that we are seeing in the sector. What's your take really on acceptability of gas as an alternative source of energy?
Yes, I think Nigerians are actually quite open to it right now. Nigerians are eager to actually have that sector really open up that they can exploit, especially when we think about the CNG campaigns. Lots of the real issue is that we need to have a lot of stations where this CNG gas can be accessed, because with the petroleum, the pricing of petroleum and all that, we saw how Nigerians have become quite enthusiastic about that alternative because of its economic value, the fact that it will cost less to power your vehicles like that. So I still think that, just like Majid said, it's a transition period. We've not really hit the ground running properly. I think that there is a need for more to be put into that sector, so that, right now there's even skepticism also about the quality of CNG vehicles running on CNG. We've seen one or two accidents occur, which have created doubt also in the minds of Nigerians. So campaigns need to be done, more enlightenment for people to know that, look, you don't go to unauthorized places to have such CNG put in your cars. You must go to the authorized places. But why would people get desperate again to go to any other length to get it? Because we've not been able to really flood the market with CNG stations. So it means that the NNPC Limited has its work cut out. Nigerians are enthusiastic. There's a little doubt because of some of the mishaps. It means that the public enlightenment has to also be heightened so that as this availability is made, it reduces pressure also on the NNPC Limited when it comes to other products. So it's important. Lots of countries have deployed the CNG and it's been a massive success. It's brought a lot of succor to their people. Right. So we are enthusiastic to see it really fully operational in Nigeria.
Now, Dr. Majid, quite a lot still to be done in the gas sector. But how would you measure the success of NNPC's campaign for gas?
The success has been quite evident because, one, we've seen more CNG stations, particularly in the Federal Capital Territory here, from just one to about a dozen. We've seen that effort. So because of the accessibility now, the availability, more availability and accessibility of CNG to end users, the confidence is being gained, in this very particular energy product. Right. And most importantly, because it is cheaper, because it is actually very safe, and it is environmentally friendly, people are willingly adopting the use of CNG. And that is thanks to the consistent campaign by relevant authorities to get Nigerians to transit from fossil fuel derived energy sources to power their vehicles to CNG. So I think by and large, we've seen progress in this regard. And more and more Nigerians are willingly on their own making that transition, which is necessary for energy security in this country as well.
Okay, I'll stay with you. Now, we've seen a wave of reforms in the industry. I mean, from restructuring of the NUPRC to legal framework to promote local businesses, and then, of course, environmental regulations and contract directives. How has this influenced or shaped 2024?
In fact, you could actually bet that our refineries are working today because of the reforms that have been put in place by the federal government. Not just the government-owned refineries, but even the privately owned refineries. Right. The deregulation of the downstream sector and the removal of price cap actually ensured that private participants in this sector were willing to make the necessary investment to bring on stream petroleum refining in Nigeria. So it's not a coincidence that it was the reform at the full implementation of the reform was when the Dangote refinery came on stream. It's also not a coincidence that shortly after then the Port Harcourt refinery came on stream. And we are hearing that any moment from now, the world refinery will also come on stream. So this is as a result of these reforms. It has restored investor confidence in the market, in Nigeria's local market. This does not mean that the government does not have some, regulatory responsibilities to ensure that Nigerians are shielded from some of the ravages of the reforms. But on the market side, it has been a phenomenal success. Because for the first time, we are seeing local refinery capacity being ramped up. That's a direct result of government reforms in the sector.
Now, Dr. Lemi, taking off from where he stopped, NNPC has seen quite a number of partnerships and deals signed in 2024. And these are a result of these reforms that we've seen. But how significant would you say these partnerships are? And how has this helped operations generally in NNPC and other oil and gas units?
Yes, you can't really do it. It's a big industry. You can't do it alone. You need to get partnerships. You need to get collaborations. And we've seen that with some of the trips that the president and commander-in-chief has been making, and with the management of NNPCL, we've seen a lot of investments, a lot of partnership coming. We are talking about the $50 billion deal also that's coming in. So it's natural that once you invest in the right direction and have the right partnership, there's no losing with such proper investments, proper partnership. So, and across the world, this is what it's done. People don't do it alone. It's a partnership that you need to be able to drive to your full potential. So I really do think that the signs are quite bright. It's very encouraging. My hope is renewed, to borrow it from the present administration's slogan of renewed hope. I really feel good vibes about what will happen in 2025 in that regard. And it all comes down to the reforms, which is of course predicated upon the PIB, the PIA, the PIA, and we are talking about the state-owned refineries. We are talking about Dangote. There's the private one also that is going on in Cross River, which will also come on stream, perhaps in the next 2 years. So I think the signs are bright for the industry, the petroleum industry. And Nigerians, after crying for so long, I think they would have a lot of reasons to be excited as Nigerians, given the kind of partnership and deals that have been signed in recent times.
Now, Dr. Majid, the introduction of the PIA has opened an opportunity for us to diversify beyond the traditional activities in the oil and gas sector. But do you think that these potentials have been fully explored so far?
This is just about a year and 8 months after the full implementation of the PIA. So we're in the post-PIB era, into the PIA. We're now in the PIA era. So we are beginning to see some of the outcomes in terms of investment that has been brought about because of the PIA. The PIA simply gave a framework that guarantees all participants, all players in the industry, some level of safety and comfort, enough to boost investor confidence, because you need investments, intensive ones, to be able to commercialize our natural resources endowment. And we've seen inflows of investment since then. In fact, in the last 12 years, before the PIA became effective, we didn't see investment into the oil and gas industry, particularly the upstream. This is the first time in 12 years that you're having an inflow of investment into the upstream. As we speak, Shell has committed a quarter of its investment portfolio for 2025 to Nigeria, in principle, beginning from early next year. So this is as a result of the PIA, because they now know where they stand. There's a legal framework governing investment environment in Nigeria that they can hold on to deal. And most important, I must mention this too. You see, our president, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, has a background in oil and gas industry and understands some of the nuances of this industry. You also have a petroleum minister that is a lawyer. So you see, we are in implementing the PIA. He has the legal background to see it through. You also have the GMD of NNPC, who is just a veteran, who was a unionist in NNPC, Mele Kyari, and working together with one government. What we've seen is hands-on approach to clearing any log in the way of attacking investment. So the president sits down with his team, which includes the Minister of Petroleum, the GMD of NNPC, the leadership of the NUPRC. If there are any stumbling blocks that is in the way of investment, the president sits down and uses both executive orders and executive instruments to clear them all the way. So in addition to the PIA, you have people that are hands-on, that understand what is at stake, working in this industry. That is the progress you've seen in 2024. I hope to see more in 2025.
Dr. Lemi, now we've spoken so much about the achievements and some of the challenges in 2024, but what more do we need to see in the oil and gas sector for more growth?
Yeah, we just need to see more commitment, more investment, more dedication to the quest of Nigeria, which is to see that our refineries work, which is to see that we have access to CNG for us to power our cars, to also see that because the host communities too, we must take them into cognizance. Right. The host communities, when you do environmental impact assessment, you know the hazard of exploring in those areas. It's important to also say that yes, we know that the NNPCL has demonstrated commitment to ensure that things like that are taken care of, but it's important to still call the attention that communities that are producing the goods that lay the golden egg must also be taking it in line with the PIA, and then ensure that we follow the PIA to the letters in order to boost further investors' confidence. Because once we're a people governed by the rule of law, not the rule of men. We stick to what the PIA says. People see as a fact that this is how it's written, it's being enforced as such. You'll see lots more investors coming to say, we want to deal. And so it's definitely just being able to do what they've done towards the later part of 2024 and 2025 more, with more devotion, with more commitment. And happily, since the president and commander-in-chief is also working in sync with the team, and a team of a fine gentleman also like Heineken Lobobiri, I think that it's very bright. I'm very positive that 2025 will be a beautiful time for the Nigerian people.
Right. Dr. Majid, what are you hoping to see in 2025? I mean, can we sustain the momentum of these
I think you've answered the question already, sustainability. All efforts in place now needs to be sustained. If they are sustained, I can assure you that 2025 will be better than 2024. We'll see a ramping up of oil production far beyond what you have now, far above what you have now, and that will translate into an increased revenue for the country. So we're going to have more revenue to service our social needs, our environmental needs, our economic needs. So Nigeria will be better for it. So the fate of this country, the wealth of this nation depends on what the NNPC is going to achieve in 2025. So we wish them all the best.
Thank you very much. We wish them all the best. That's a good place to drop this conversation. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Lemi Ugegbe and Dr. Majid Dahiru, for joining us on the program today. Well, you've been watching the concluding part of our review on the 2024 performance of NNPC Limited, the impact of government reforms on the industry, challenges, and the future of oil and gas in Nigeria. NNPC Limited is not relenting this year in its efforts to rid the sector of insecurity in order to ramp up its oil production and exceed its targets. To this end, the company continues to partner with security agencies to arrest the menace of crude theft and pipeline vandalism. Here's our weekly update on the ongoing war with oil thieves.
The war against crude oil theft continues to intensify, with the industry-wide security collaboration on hydrocarbon infrastructure delivering remarkable results. Between 28 December 2024 and 3 January 2025, a total of 173 incidents were recorded across the Niger Delta region. These records were by the joint efforts of NNPC Limited's Command and Control Center, NNPC Exploration and Production Limited, Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Maton Engineering Nigeria Limited, Liquefied Natural Gas of Nigeria, Hares Energies, and government security agencies. The week recorded a number of breaches. In Bayelsa State, an illegal connection to a wellhead was discovered at Ikarama, and another illegal connection to a pipeline at West Boma, Bayelsa State. Similar discoveries were made at Ipu South in Abia State and Ndokwa in Delta State. All illegal connections were disengaged and swift repairs were carried out to restore operations. The clampdown on illegal refineries also gained momentum, targeting operations causing significant environmental harm. Sites at Oyibo, Buguma, Jack 3 and Bile in Rivers State, as well as West Boma and Ikarama in Bayelsa State, and Obuzo in Abia State, were destroyed, sending a strong message to potential perpetrators. Additionally, illegal crude oil storage sites were exposed at various locations, with a massive site uncovered at Ikarama in Bayelsa State, with similar sites at Bile and Oyibo in Rivers State. Oil spills caused by pipeline vandalism were also reported this week. One incident occurred at Akwa Odogwa in Rivers State, another at Olodiama in Bayelsa State. On water, security operatives seized and destroyed wooden fiber boats loaded with stolen crude oil at Bile, Jack 3 and Okoloma in Rivers State, as well as Ajatishan in Bayelsa State and Oza West in Abia State. This week's incidents spanned various corridors: 52 in the Central Corridor, 66 in the Eastern Corridor, 9 in the Western Corridor, and 46 in deep blue water. One suspect was arrested and handed over to government security agencies for further investigation. For NNPC Limited, the resolve remains unshaken. The fight against crude oil theft will persist until the menace is eradicated for good.
You're watching Energy and You. Let's now give you a summary of major international energy stories for the week. Oil prices fell this week in the middle of a strong US dollar ahead of key economic data by the US Federal Reserve and US payrolls. Brent crude futures dropped 28 cents to $76.23 a barrel, pulling back from last Friday's close at its highest level since October 14, 2024. The Biden administration plans to impose more sanctions on Russia over its war on Ukraine, taking aim at its oil revenues with action against tankers carrying Russian crude. The administration has sought to shore up support for Ukraine before President-elect Donald Trump takes office on January 20, given the Republican leader's frequent complaints about the costs of U.S. support for Ukraine. Asia's crude oil imports dropped in 2024, the first annual decline in 3 years, led by weak demand from heavyweight China and other major buyers, with only India managing sparse growth. The world's top importing region saw arrivals of 26.51 million barrels per day in 2024, down 1.4% from the 26.88 million barrels per day in 2023. That's according to data compiled by LSEG Oil Research. Saudi Aramco, the world's top oil exporter, has raised crude prices for Asian buyers in February for the first time in 3 months, after OPEC Plus extended production cuts for another 3 months. The decision also came after Russian and Iranian supplies fell. Aramco raised the official selling price for flagship Arab light crude by 60 cents to $1.50 per barrel, above the Oman-Dubai average benchmark. Tanzanian authorities have announced that preparations for the African Heads of State Energy Summit, scheduled for January 27 to 28, are well underway. The summit, also known as the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, is a landmark event aimed at accelerating energy access across the continent. And that's the show tonight. Thank you for investing your time with us. If you missed any part of the show or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles to get updates of all the activities of NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Egumbo. We'll see you again next time. Have a prosperous 2025.
It's the dawn of a new day, so come on, let's go.